And I'm proposing that we avert the fiscal cliff together in a manner that ensures that 2013 is finally the year that our government comes to grips with the major problems that are facing us. This will bring jobs home, result in a stronger, healthier economy. And a stronger, healthier economy means more Americans working and more revenues, which is what the president is seeking.
You're listening to Republican House Speaker John Boehner speaking about the impending fiscal cliff earlier this morning. Now, President Obama, newly reelected, is going to be speaking at 1 p.m. today. We will carry that live on WSJ.com. We'll be also discussing John Boehner's comments in just a moment with Aaron Zitner. He is in Washington, D.C. House Boehner Speaker saying that he hopes productive conversations on the fiscal cliff will begin soon, and saying that raising tax rates as part of the budget deal will slow down our economy. How are they going to find compromise on that? Aaron Zitner, he is in Washington, D.C. right now. Aaron, you were listening to House Speaker Boehner discuss what he thinks needs to happen for compromise this morning. But can compromise really happen?
Well, this isn't their first time around. Boehner and President Obama had a whole year of conversations about how to rein in the deficit, deal with the debt limit and related problems. This is another attempt at it, and what you're seeing now is a very interesting period where there's kind of the bow before the dance. We know they're going to have conversations probably starting next week, and they're each kind of laying out their public positions, and so far Mr. Boehner has spoken twice, and both times he's been fairly conciliatory, or left an opening for these conversations to begin in a broad way. We'll hear from Obama in about an hour.
It's one thing to talk in sort of these broad strokes and conciliatory tones about compromise. I mean, this is indeed what the American people want to hear right now. When we get down to the nitty-gritty, though, there's going to be some a very difficult road ahead for this compromise. I mean, the White House has said that it would seek to extend the Bush-era tax cuts to households earning less than $250,000 a year, but raise rates on people earning more. The Republicans have said no go. How do you get past that, Aaron?
There are two things going on right now. On the fiscal cliff, there's room for a deal here. What you hear Boehner saying is, don't raise rates. But he's left room to raise revenues. So if the White House position, what Obama had said through the campaign was, let's cut taxes for the middle class and have the wealthy pay a little bit more. Now, you can get the wealthy to pay a little bit more by raising rates, or allowing rates to revert to pre-Bush levels on the wealthiest, which is the way Obama has been talking about it. But if that's off the table because Boehner won't accept it, the other way you get the wealthy to pay a little more is by scaling back deductions for people at the top. That seems to have not been ruled out by Boehner so far, so that's the way the conversation could go.
And Aaron, let me ask you this. How much is the pressure on for each side to give a little bit, given that yesterday a nonpartisan agency, the Congressional Budget Office, basically detailed new warnings of what will happen if we hit this fiscal cliff and go over it, indeed saying that we will plunge into probably another recession. Does that make each side a little bit more eager to give a little bit?
I think so, but let's step back a little bit. You've just had an election where Obama won and the Democrats enhanced their hand in the Senate. That's partly there's a lot we could say about that, but it's a certain amount of public support. It enhances the Democratic hand a little bit, but it was a near-death experience for President Obama because the last time around, these conversations went so badly. We had a downgrade of U.S. debt. We almost had a government shutdown. So both sides, I think, feel chastened by that experience. Republicans by losing, Obama by starting being a very weak incumbent through the year. And I think that creates incentives for them to go forward. More broadly, Republicans are going through a broad examination of where they want to be right now. The fiscal cliff is part of it. But what's very interesting is you're hearing Boehner not only speak in a conciliatory way about opening the door on taxes, but yesterday he said Obamacare is the law of the land. Yesterday he said we want to embrace immigration reform. There's a set of issues here where the two parties will be negotiating and talking.
A very different environment than it was at the very beginning of the week. You're right, Boehner even saying today that it's clear as a political party that the GOP has a lot of work to do. We will see if that work includes working with the Democrats to get this deal done and avoid the fiscal cliff. Aaron Zitner, thanks so much. We'll be back to you. And again,